My so-called friends, they're just watching and laughing. They won't stretch a helping hand, I swear they have shown. That's why I know love. She said love. Nobody loves nobody.
99.9 WEFM. Activate Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Go ahead, Ari. I know you're waiting for the cue, sorry.
Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is 7:46. And welcome back to Activated Mornings. If you're just joining us, you're listening to Ari, and with me is Roleza. And we are Activated Mornings this morning. Now, don't you just love the sweet taste of nothing? I remember.
What does mean?
I remember. When was it? Gosh, now I forget the date saying I remember.
So you start off real traction. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That there was a build-up. Who is going to be the next leader of the NDP? Sorry, the ULP.
Oh, sweet. Oh, Lord.
Is it going to be Sabo? Is it going to be Camelo? Who will it be? Surprise, surprise. It's going to be the PM. Same PM. Same PM we've had for all these years. It's going to be him. So, PMK, and that's what I was asking you yesterday, right? What was said on issue at hand, but I think it was the week before.
Yeah, this was said last week.
Yeah,
right?
this is the week before. No, there's a story on Eyewitness News. Gonsalves hopes to live till 110, plans to remain MP till 2030. No, I strongly believe he will live to see 110. He is quite, there are people that's his age that either falling out or not as healthy. Sorry. I don't know how the PM does it. He has one of the most interesting schedules I've seen. He meets with people. Mm-hmm. He still travels in the capacity as Prime Minister, and he still is up to date with all the ministries to the point where whenever there's something to be discussed, he is the person that's at these press conferences. He's the person that's giving updates.
You studying that? I study fact that he sits down. He still has time to sit down and write books.
Amongst
his busy schedule. That's what is of interest to me.
But I believe he would live to see 110 because he's active and he seems healthy regardless of the belly. He seems quite healthy. No, but people use that as an indicator to say,
just leave. I heard this really story.
The story is Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves says he hopes to live to see 110 years old. But the next general election would be the last he would contest as a leader of the Unity Labour Party, ULP. Gonsalves, who turned 78 in August, has been representing North Central Windward for 30 years. He said that in representational politics, once you give a commitment, you give it a commitment, basically for life. On April 7th, ULP held a rally at the Arnasville to celebrate 23 years in office. Speaking on WEFM hours before the rally, Gonsalves thanked the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for allowing him to serve as Prime Minister for 23 years. And I want to thank the people of North Central Windward for giving me the opportunity to serve them thus far for 30 years. And I know it has been a long time as MP, Member of Parliament. Sorry, he added that he is the longest serving among the current leaders in CARICOM. And I don't know how many prime ministers, if any, across the world now served a longer period of time. Gonsalves said that he thought that the 2020 general elections would have been the last with him as head of the ULP ticket. And so I indicated, but I am a party man, and the party leadership insisted that I go again, that I'm healthy. They see my work ethic, my hours, knock wood, not glass, that I'm still doing the work and long hours, and they see my work on a daily basis. I think the people see it too, the Prime Minister said. You're wrong. All right, see you doing a lot of work. I'm pretty sure he was at the forefront, him and Minister of Tourism for Sandals. Obviously, Silak. And why are you smiling like that?
Are we ready story?
Lord, that's weird. So I'm going to be contesting definitely. This is going to be the last occasion that I'll be leading the ticket. I'm in the hands of the people and the party as the period between 2025 and 2030. And I'm also in the hands of nature, in the hands of God. But I give the assurance that once I can continue to do the job within the period of 2025 to 2030, I will do the job. Yeah, so there's a lot more to this story. I don't know if anything stand out that in this story to you that you want to highlight. But what are your thoughts on this?
All right, so my thoughts. All right, so while it says that I accept what the PM has said, all right, so I think sometimes it's kind of you put yourself in a spot when you have to give commentary on these things, but I like being honest, right? Now, there are times when I have to wonder, or it makes me wonder if the PM running back, and my opinion would have extended to the last general election, if this is helping or hindering the party, right? Now, I am not politically affiliated. Let me make that known up front. I am just one of those persons who likes to think independently, right? There are times when I do have to question this. Given that the ULP has been in power for the past 23 years, and even let's say as a head of a party, as a head of an organization, as a head of a business, there are times when I think that persons need to have contingency plans in place. And one of the effective signs of a good leader is being able to mold the persons under you so that they can take over the helm, right? And I do have to question sometimes, as I said, whether or not the PM running back is hindering or helping the party. Now, I am not going to necessarily tie it down to age, because I do not believe once someone has passed the age of retirement that they should be quote unquote put out to pasture, right? Persons who have passed the retirement age can still play an active role within society, within politics, within their own party. But in terms of that transitional stage, now, yes, I do have to give kudos to him. I think he's very charismatic. I always remember when I was at UE, many of the other persons from other countries, they praised our prime minister, right? They looked up to him. He almost seemed like a brethren to them, you know? And at that time, yes, he has done good work. He is a visionary. But I sometimes... I'm not quite sure about this one. I'm not sure about it. And my opinion stood from the last general election, because I think that being at the helm for 23 years, even if you're going to say that this is the last occasion that you are running, couldn't a contingency plan in terms of handing over that leadership, couldn't it have been done before? Yes, the party does have a lot of young persons within it. So it's not a case where it's just trying to figure out who it is you're going to pass it on to, which probably is really what the question is, you know. But I do have an issue putting it out there with a person at the helm of an organization, at the helm of a business, and in this case, a political party, still being at the reins after being there for such a long period of time. And that's my humble opinion, folks.
I think the PM should stay there forever. Forget everything that you just said. I think the PM should stay there forever. He has a wonderful track record, and he's going to continue running like Shafiko, and he will keep making us proud as a country, and he will be there for 30, 35, maybe 40 years, maybe forever.
You see, and why it says that I had to question it. I noticed some of the things that he indicated as to why he was staying. I'm trying to pull up the article to see some of the things. So the tunnel through King Garden, he would like to be there for. Cultural and educational hubs he made mention of. You know, there are some other things that I think that he would like to be able to still play a role in. But do you necessarily have to be at the helm in order for these things to happen?
Hey, that's Captain Jack Sparrow. He needs to be the captain.
Yeah, you know, and I don't want for persons, and I shouldn't even have to say this because I'm hoping that I'm speaking to persons who are open-minded, but it's not even a case of let's say I'm anti the PM. That has absolutely nothing to it. What it is that
anti-PM to me. Makes me sick.
what it is that I like to see leaders be able to put persons who have been around at least for a while, because there's Carlos, there's Camilo, there is Saboto. There are other persons, younger persons who are also there, who have been around, who could have been trained to take over. And the other question that I have, is it a case where the opinion is that the ULP can only win on account of the PM still being there? All right.
Listen,
so
I don't see why you want to remove our supreme leader. He has been doing amazing. And if he's doing amazing, then he should keep on being amazing. What is your problem, Roleza, with the Prime Minister?
Did you not hear me? I can replay this for you. I said I did not have a problem.
Anti-Prime.
I did
Let me
not.
stop with the nonsense.
I know you're being silly.
What I honestly think is no leader should be in the same position for that amount of time. Now, I'm not saying that he is not a great politician. I think the Prime Minister is quite an intellect and a great politician. I think that we should be at the point now where he should be in a consulting role as opposed to the head of the president of the party. Now, I am not deep-rooted in politics. I tend to avoid political discussions. But I do strongly believe that his experience and his expertise and the knowledge that he has, which is a wealth of knowledge, could be passed down to other persons in the party. It's the simple case that we keep seeing in everyday life. We want persons who are experienced to have different positions, but we do not give them the position so that they can be experienced. And that is my opinion at all. And that in no way, shape, or form means that I don't think the Prime Minister is a good Prime Minister. I don't think that I'm going to minimize his legacy, what he has accomplished here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in the Caribbean, because in the wider Caribbean, he is quite respected. He's up there with the Bayesian PMIPM. If I could have voted for she, I vote for she. But he's quite he is up there when it comes to respect in politics as a leader for policies, etc.
And one of the other things too, so I generally don't always take on comments from other persons, but I looked at the comments on that particular article, and a lot of persons. But I had my opinions from since 2020. But a lot of persons were also sharing the same sentiments that I had. And part of me wonders, isn't it better to retire, quote unquote, retire when you're at the top, right? As opposed to staying there, thinking that this is what the people want when it may not necessarily be what the people want. And I also have to look at the fact that no, I am not necessarily against, but we have two parties here in SVG. So I am not necessarily against.
You say my party and a real party.
Who is your party?
Ivan.
I can't tell last I hear from Ivan. I honestly can't tell the last I hear from Ivan.
Yeah, something.
He coming. You're running for South Leeward?
Yeah, yes.
You're running?
Yes, I running for South Leeward.
Well, watch a time to bring you into politics. But one of the other things that I have to look at. So I tend to find that, remember, if you are in a position of power for a significant amount of time, and again, it's not just about politics, it's also, as I'm using also the example of being the head of an organization. When you're at the head for such a long period of time, and it seems as if this time doesn't have an end, what it is that you tend to find is that persons do not necessarily get the things that they need to get done as quickly as possible. If you know, yeah, we did. If you know that you're only going to, let's say, be there for 10 years, you're going to push to get as much done within that 10 years. But if it's extended, and in the case of the ULP, not so much a case of them not being there past 10 years, but in terms of the person who's at the helm, because the person at the helm is who's going to more than likely drive the things that they want to see by way of national development, right? So you're not necessarily going to have another, let's say, a younger person coming in with their own opinions. If you have that period for 10 years, if you state that up front, then you're going to try to get as much done within that 10 years.
Yep. But the time is now 8 o'clock here in St.
Yeah, me
Vincent and the
talking plenty,
Grenadines.
boy. Way.
It's now 8 o'clock here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death